Raise your frequency. You've heard it 100 times before. And it's true. And that's the frustrating part. It's actually true. But almost nobody who says it ever tells you the one thing that actually matters, how you actually raise it. And there's a reason they leave this part out. So today, the real principles of manifestation, what it actually is, why you've been doing it your whole life without knowing, and the actual mechanism that shifts your vibration, not a vibe, not a mood, an actual mechanism. First principle, and it's going to annoy you just a little bit. You're already a master manifester, not someday, right now. You have created every circumstance in your life through one power, the power to choose. And here's the kicker. The one choice you do not get to make is to stop choosing. You're choosing every single minute of every single day, which means you are manifesting every minute of every day. Most of it runs on autopilot, so you don't have to think about it, but under the surface without you noticing. Okay? Which is why it feels like some things just happen to you. They don't. You're the one creating them. You're just doing it in your sleep. So get this out of your head right now. This was never about learning how to manifest. This was never about that. You're already an expert. It's about learning to do it on purpose instead of by accident, right? So here's principle 2 we're going to talk about. There's exactly one reason you don't have the thing you want. Not because you're unworthy, not because the universe is testing you, not because it's not your time. Those are all stories we tell ourselves, and I'll be straight with you. They're all spiritual sounding ways to avoid the boring truth. The one reason is this. You're not yet vibrationally congruent with the thing you want. It sounds woo, but it's not. If you were, it would already be here, right? That's not me being harsh. That's just how the law works. Congruent things show up, incongruent things don't. It's basic. And here's why that's the best news in this whole video. Congruence isn't a personality trait you're stuck with. It's a state, and states can change. So here's how the hour-long videos skip right over this. Okay, the ones that you've been watching about manifestation. How do you actually change your vibration? Not by thinking about it. Read my lips, because that is the whole game. Thinking cannot shift your physical vibrational state. You can affirm, visualize, and meditate all day long. Your body, which is the densest part of you, does not move on thoughts alone. It moves on, as I said, action. Remember that. New choices, new action done consistently over time. That's the mechanism. That's the entire thing the gurus leave out when they tell you just raise your frequency. It isn't a mood you force. It's a result. It rises when you act on the new thinking and ground it in the body. Generic action moves a generic needle. The right action moves yours. Quick one. If thinking can't shift it, action can. If that just reframes something for you, subscribe. This is part 2 of 4, and part 3 is where I show you your specific instructions. I'd hate for you to miss it, so press subscribe now. Let me show you exactly where the popular advice quietly lies to you. There's a manifestation video out there with over 1 million views. I mentioned this in the last one. It's an hour long, and honestly, as I said, solid stuff. I'm not here to trash it, but the whole hour rests on one promise. Get your energy right, and it will all flow to you effortlessly. And I have to be honest with you, because that's what I'm here for. That part isn't true. Your body is dense. It moves slowly. The bigger the thing you want, the more vibrational shift you need. So the more you're going to have to do to get it. And that's an on-purpose thing. There's even a name for it. It's called the law of gestation. And thank God for that, because if every passing thought manifested on the spot with your 60 to 80,000 thoughts a day, your life would be an absolute horror show. So no, it doesn't just flow. You act consistently over time. I've said it before, I'll say it again. And that's not the bad news. That's the part that finally hands you the controls. You're in control of this. Effortless means it's happening to you. Aligned action means you are the one doing it. Now, the part nobody warns you about, the second you start taking new action, you're going to enter a transition period. And for a while, it's genuinely uncomfortable because you're no longer congruent to the old life. So you don't feel like yourself. You feel something strange is going on, but you're not congruent with the new one yet, which is that messy middle. You're in between. So things might start falling away from you. Relationships may need renegotiation. Stuff might break. Self-doubt shows up uninvited. It's so much fun, right? But here's what I need you to hear. When you understand that, is not anything going wrong. That is how the mechanism works. Whatever no longer matches the new you is deselecting. It has to leave to make room for what you're becoming because it feels like things are falling apart. I know it. So this right here is exactly where most people stop. One step before the shift completes. If you've rebuilt after loss like I have, many times, you already know this feeling in your bones. The difference is this time, the falling away is on purpose. Don't mistake it for failure. Don't be most people. And about all those overnight stories, you've seen them, I've seen them. Someone does one thing and boom, their whole life changes. Here's the truth. It was never instant. They'd been quietly shifting their vibration for months, sitting on the right edge of the tipping point, and that one final aligned action pushed them over. You only saw the last step. They only talk about the last step. You never saw the hundred of steps before it. So if yours hasn't suddenly happened yet, you might be a lot closer to the edge than you think. So that's the principle. Vibration shifts through action consistently over time. But here's the question that decides everything. And it's the one I actually get paid to answer. Which action? Taken in what way? Because here's what's true, and almost nobody says it. The action that shifts your vibration is not the same as the kind that shifts mine. Some people shift by going all in on one thing. Others take a dozen small different actions at once. Same law, completely different instructions. And yours are written into your design, all 7 of them. That's the next video. And one promise before I go, and it's the opposite of what most people in my world will tell you. I can't promise you an outcome. Shifting your vibrational states takes real action over time, and that part is on you. What I can do is hand you the exact diagnosis and the correction so you stop guessing which action is actually yours. The recipe is yours, not mine, not someone else's. And when you finally run on your own design, you stop wondering if you're doing it right because it starts to feel right. So subscribe now so part 3 finds you fast, because that's the one where it gets personal. 7 comparatives, your actual design. And if you already know you want yours read, the link is below. I'm Sandra, soul first, strategy second. See you in part 3.